would say the good being ambitious and going for different things in my life. I would say it intimidates certain types of men, and that's totally okay. The good parts, I would say it's empowered me to be very independent and learn, you know, what fulfills me, what I'm into. And then I guess the ugly would be kind of going back to that insecurity or intimidating, you know, trying to be two alphas in the household or two bosses in the household doesn't always work necessarily. So I have to find someone that can kind of put me in my place, since I'm used to always being, like, you know, in charge. Is it hard to find, you think? I do. I feel like it takes finding, like, a real man, like a man's man that is completely comfortable in his own skin and has no qualms about bullshit. And today's society, there's the men, I feel like, are just caught up in, and in the women too. I'm not putting one or the other. I'm just saying I feel like the priorities of the male have gone where it's tough. It's tough.
So the good is you're ambitious and independent. The negative is men are intimidated by that.
Correct.
And then the ugly is it's difficult to find a guy that will deal with you.
Correct.
Thank you.
Right. Are we responding at all, or are we just getting
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I appreciate you keeping it real about something that could make you vulnerable. So thank you for that. Much respect. Consistently, we hear women suggest that men are intimidated by them. I think this is the biggest load of horseshit I've ever heard in my life. And as much as, you know, what are you, like 5'3", 5'4"? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're 5'4". And why would anyone be intimidated by you?
I don't mean like physically intimidated.
No,
maybe they feel they don't have something to offer me, because I can provide that for myself.
It's a metaphor. You're 5'4", you're a woman. You making more money doesn't make you more or less intimidating.
Just because it doesn't to you doesn't mean it doesn't to other men.
That's what I was getting at. Certain men that are comfortable in their own skin, they have no problem. They love that about me.
Is this like a hate women podcast? Because I didn't know this what the fuck we're doing.
These guys are super nice.
I know. I didn't realize I'm not about to be ridiculed because I'm a fucking boss-ass bitch.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we can't lie and suggest that guys are intimidated.
We didn't say everyone, just like...
One second,
she didn't lie.
We don't have to say that they're intimidated when their value set is
Some
not
are.
That's a great
Danny,
valid
how many
point.
times you going to interrupt me? You going to let me make this point?
But it's just like you saying every bitch is a prostitute that gets a sugar daddy. No, they're not. My mom had a sugar daddy, and she's not a prostitute.
If you let me finish and then you speak, then we can both be heard. I'm just saying
you're the typical example of a stereotyping us women.
But no, when you're interrupting, then it shows why you don't get along in a relationship with a man. But if you just listen to me,
I don't want to get along in a relationship with a man.
And then I listen to you, then we can have a...
See, this is really relatable for me because I've had these conversations with men, and I've had to learn
because they're women haters.
I can be a boss bitch without being the loudest in the room or the biggest in the room, and that's kind of learning tact.
My life is really peaceful. I don't.
Right, so this kind of behavior right here, this is when they call themselves alpha or they call themselves boss. Well, that's not alpha, or that's not being a boss. That's being impolite. That's being rude. That's not being feminine.
You're being rude to everyone here.
Because we all have a chance to speak, but you're speaking while I'm speaking. Can you at least
put everyone down? That's
can you
crazy.
acknowledge that you were speaking while I was speaking?
I'm gonna stick up for.
I hear you, but can you acknowledge that you were speaking
I didn't know
while?
This was a hate women shit.
Can you acknowledge that you were speaking while I was speaking and I wasn't talking to you?
So we move this.
I'm fine.
We'll move this along, Taylor. A lot of times when people say,
I'm great."
A lot of times when people say intimidated, they mean like a preference.
This is like crazy.
They mean a preference. Does that make sense?
That was quick.
Yeah, it is, because I'm not about to be fucking hated on because I'm a fucking woman. And like you literally,
I don't hear hating. You're leaving.
Having a discussion.
Of course,
okay. All right, then just leave.
Yeah, bye.
Babe, I'm leaving. Can I walk the fuck away?
Leave. Don't make it
you can do that.
Yelling.
Oh, don't worry.
Just get up and leave.
Don't worry.
Angry.
Don't fucking tell me what to do when I'm
Very
getting up.
angry.
Just leave.
Yikes.
I'm leaving. I'm walking
Why
away.
are you yelling
You're
at
making yourself
Anyways.
look crazy now.
Making myself look crazy. All you do is ridicule women.
Did you ask why she was yelling?
I thought we were being pretty polite.
Very
You were
mean.
just yelling 30 minutes ago?
I have to walk by.
Yeah. Okay. No.
But men aren't attracted to these boss women.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous, man. The people that know her whack out.
So that's what I'm getting at. I've had to find the happy medium between being a boss woman, but knowing that there's a time and a place for it, and knowing when I'm with my man or the right man per se, that I don't have to like knuckle up or like prove anything or like get all loud. And I used to be that. I mean, they've seen me get like that in here.
So many girls have done that. They drive away the alpha men that they're attracted to.
It's a fact.
They keep
No,
driving,
it is a fact.
They're attracted to
I'll own
alpha
that.
men, and they keep driving them away. And
It
that's
is
what
a
girls
fact.
need to identify when they're this aggressiveness, and they're
Very
always
aggressive.
attracted to the same alpha men, but then they go with them for a minute, and they're too aggressive. The guy's just like, bye.
You could be a badass,
Listen,
confident
Tess,
woman,
Martin,
but
you've
you don't have to be
identified that.
It was
aggressive.
simple.
She hasn't. That's why
Breathe
she's
in,
single.
breathe out.
The thing that I find strange is like it's dishonesty through redefinition. So we're talking about a boss, right? I wish she was here so I could say, okay, you're a boss. What's the highest number of employees you've had? What's the highest number of employees you've had since you're a boss? I have an eerie feeling that she's really not a boss. She's in the service industry and just doesn't realize
It's the
it.
vocabulary. I feel like the society has lost the vocabulary. We use words we say words that don't mean what we're saying, and that's why
which is also
people are
known
always,
as a lie.
totally.
So she's actually sitting next to a boss, but she's not a boss. And I think that's why she got so uncomfortable. And she said, how can I get out of here so that I don't have to deal with this level of conversation? It was an escape move. And here's the thing. I've seen this before. Same thing Adam 22 did. When he saw it getting hot on one person, he thought, oh, shoot, I'm next. Let me do something and have an outburst so I can make an exit. When in reality, when I was talking to you, I have a lot of respect for you. You're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. First thing I did is said, hey, let me acknowledge that you told us something you didn't have to tell us.
Thank you. And I appreciate that.
Right?
And I don't necessarily agree with everything you have to say, but I can respect you enough to hear your point of view and hope that you vice versa.
And we can
will
have a
do the same.
dialogue.
We can
We don't have to all
dialogue.
agree on
you're
everything,
mature.
but we should be able to
Right.
talk like adults.
It's taking time, though,
Precisely.
y'all, for me to get to this point. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Now, we know she was lying and frauding because how is it that she's more mad than you are and I was talking to you?
Well, she's
felt
obviously
offended.
triggered
She
by
was
her own
offended.
issues, and I felt for her because I understand what she's trying to say, and I can agree to her points.
I feel
just think,
bad for her, too.
I think, like me, I had to learn how to articulate my points of view in a way that truly made a difference versus making a scene or making it emotional.
You know what I think the difference is between you and her is that you have some level of competence and personality to where you can actually do something other than sex work. Then you have others who can only do sex work. And as far as personality, they actually have some sort of disorder. But as a female, you never realize because people are busy staring at your breasts and your butt cheeks. And so you think you're getting on in the world just fine when really most people don't like you.
99% of men won't be honest like you're being right now too. They'll just simp to these girls and kiss their ass.
You were
It's
making
very rare
faces
that
as
someone's
he was
being honest like you're doing.
as he was saying. You disagree with his points. I noticed that you were making.
yeah.
Okay, what do you do disagree with specifically?
You love
know, I'm
me.
like
You
the
love me.
opposite of
Quit
you.
playing. No, you love everything about me. Bring that
I
mic
totally
over.
agree.
What do you disagree with specifically then?
Well, I honestly, I feel for her because she wasn't upset because of that. She was upset because of the whole you were like basically just calling all of us a prostitute.
I don't think you did that, did you?
That's
I don't
how
think
I
so
felt.
either.
I didn't.
I don't think so either.
Did you
But
guys
if
hear
I
that?
did, though, what's
There's nothing wrong with being a prostitute.
You feel me? Like, here's the thing. I've met a lot of chicks who are bona
There's
fide.
a sacred prostitute.
I met
actually.
bona fide street
We're healers.
strollers.
It's the oldest profession,
I can
guys.
respect the
It
chick.
really is.
I want to be able to
That'd probably
respect
be
your
hunting.
hoeing.
That'd be
Is it
carpentry.
all
You know what I'm saying?
Hunting. Yes, you're right.
I hate when you wanna do it and get paid for it and call guys tricks. A trick, who does he patronize? A hoe. So she called him a trick, which means that you're the hoe. So you want to make the money and flaunt it, but you don't want to acknowledge what you're really doing for it. I love a chick who's hoeing I can respect. I know bona fide street strollers who say, I'm a hoe, my mom knows I'm a hoe.
I was
and that's
going to
what
get
it
to that.
is.
I think a lot of women get in this industry and they try to convince themselves that they're okay with it.
Right.
And me, I've dipped my toe in the waters. I realized that that wasn't necessarily for me and what fulfilled me as a human being. But by God, girl, if that's what you fucking feel good doing, rock that shit.
Yeah.
Rock that shit, own it, and do something
Own
with
it.
Make it like
Own it.
build an empire. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't play victim. Own that shit and fucking kill it because there's nothing wrong with that.
You do realize that's exactly what she didn't do, right?
Oh, totally. Totally. That's what I'm trying to get at. I think a lot of women still allow themselves to be triggered because I think they haven't fully come to terms with what they're doing versus I love what the fuck I do. I love it. Like, which is totally fine. Like, there's no any negativity about that. I think it's amazing and it's empowering and brave and freaking badass. Like
50 years ago, a young lady like that she would have went through high school, probably struggled through, and then once she got her high school diploma, she would have looked at her prospects and she would have done what most women were doing, which is get a man who can provide, be a housewife, and live her life through. That's what she would have done. Now in this modern world, not having access to that and that not being a typical model, then she goes out into the marketplace and says, how can I make money, A, and then B, how can I make money at a level that my lifestyle is Instagrammable? Right. Because that's what we promote. And that's where she's found herself right now. And frankly, she's lost and she's struggling.